computer and it just asked me so I could record. It said, what language does everybody speak? And then I was like, it said English. And I was like, some of us are fluent in sarcasm. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that that's an option. So, okay.
It may not understand us then.
I know.
Have to use it because of them.
Yeah.
How many do we have?
5 right now. Not yet.
I don't know where Daniel is.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna give it just a couple more minutes before we start due to. Oh, I thought you was outside. I was getting ready to blame you for the gate.
Oh, no, it's not my
So I turned around. No, it's not Tracy's fault that that gate wasn't open. Well, from what she told me, she sent an email on Monday to request it be open, so.
That's a man that's been married when he turns to see if the other party's there, so he doesn't get.
So all you neighbors, people don't get in.
Yeah.
So,
Because I too, they probably didn't want us in here today. I don't know.
quick minute with safety stuff.
was-
Oh, I got you started? Okay.
Yeah, well, I had to, so you have to.
They can hear me. All right, quick safety for around here. You can see where all the exits are because they're lit up. If something happens and we need to meet somewhere, you'll see a sign on the other side of the parking lot that says meet here. Bathrooms out here to the left. There's also some back to that back exit. What else do I need to say? Anybody know CPR and all that stuff in case somebody falls out? Okay.
PRC.
I know how to dial 911.
I don't know the number.
Okay, here.
What's the address? You didn't tell me.
I don't know.
5730 General Commerce Drive,
This is who's calling.
Charlotte.
This is who's calling.
Yep,
I told him at the end of the road.
with all her recent surgeries, still be the one laying on the ground. Let me double check.
We talk smack about each other.
Hey,
Well, welcome to Mecklenburg UCC. It's our first meeting of the year, so happy new year to everybody. Hope everybody has safe and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of that. We've got a lot of new faces in here that I've not seen before. A lot of old faces, and I say old, I mean OLP, not OLP. But if this is your first meeting that you've been, I'm not gonna say this year because it's the first one of this year, everybody raise their hand. This, I knew yours was.
Roger, right?
Yes.
I remember you, don't remember me, do you? Okay, good.
Glad you made it back. Just a few ground rules that we have in these meetings. These meetings is not set up to,
smack anybody. I know you were trying to clean it up.
yeah. We're not in here to beat anybody up, let me put it that way. Not physically, but verbally or anything like that. We're in here to bring issues up that we're having. We're going to discuss those issues and we're going to try to do everything we can to work through those issues. That's how these meetings work. That's the reason we have 25, 30 people here instead of just 4 or 5 people. We do have some success stories that's happened within the past 6 months roughly with some issues that we as contractors were having. And the contractors, the locators, facility owners got together and I would say that is working real well. Cody, that's working out real well. Be a fair way to put that. Okay. What we'll do is we'll do introductions. We skip those sometimes we don't. But this time we will start over here. Since we got some VIPs with us. Hey, I'm Kevin Bonner with Badger.
Sean Kelly, the Badger,
And
and co-chair of the North Carolina 811
state
State UCC.
I'll get it there. I got 4 more years to do.
Scott Cheryl, Hyper Network.
Amber Theta Flagger Force.
Michael Singer, Colliers Engineering Design.
Michael Gibbs, A&M Tower Services and Professional Engineering.
Randy Ritter, National Underground and A&M Power Services.
Joel Calabrese, P&G Program Manager for Damage Prevention in North Carolina.
I don't know, you was gonna say electric at a hill, but you saw.
Ann Rushing, North Carolina 811.
Freddie Young, Centers Utility Construction. Underground Damage Prevention Review Board.
Tracy Taylor, Charlotte Water, for the next 2 days, damage investigator.
John Young,
Kevin Sickman, Charlotte Water.
Jaden Santos, Charlotte Water.
Tremaine B. on Call Concepts.
Leslie Rodriguez, Concept.
Dan Bear, Guinness.
Ray Smith, same. David Smith, Charlotte Water.
Daniel Gibson, located field supervisor, Charlotte Water. Stephen Champney, located, no. Giovanni, Super, West, Heat Supervisor.
Troy Shepherd, Google Fiber. Tony Smith, East Supervisor, E.
Cody Stockton, location. Tristan Daly, City Shop Stormwater.
Y'all notice how the locators are scared to give their job titles. And the ones online. Oh, I forgot you, Miss Tammy.
Oh, good morning, Tammy Groves, North Carolina 811. So Ashley with the city of Charlotte, Jim Collins, Eric Lochner, and Shannon Logan
Shannon's
online.
Right.
So welcome y'all.
Yeah, welcome everybody online. For the new ones that don't know me, for the old ones that don't care about me, my name is Roger Richards. I work for Centers Utility. So if y'all got a problem with me, that's my fault. I'm gonna, might not be no good if you go fill it. But no, glad to see everybody and, we'll get started on this and Ms. Tammy, we'll go through your stuff.
Sure, I'll be glad to, thank you. All right, folks, y'all, asked for just a teeny little bit of leeway this morning. I've been out for 6 weeks. I might not remember how to do this. And I just got a new computer yesterday. I got home and couldn't even figure out how to get to my email. So it's slowly but surely working out. Y'all already know that it is January and we are at the tail end of January, which means February's coming up. So gentlemen, go get your Valentine cards now while they still have them and you're not left picking up what you have to get as opposed to the ones you might want to get.
Hey, that's discrimination. Ladies have got to get theirs too.
I got mine yesterday. I'm
You
just
didn't say that to them.
I'm just trying to help some brothers out because, you know, I got y'all. That being said, let's talk about some announcements. Annual notices are going out via email right now to update member information by January 31st. Please update any information, including maps, to stay as current as possible. Now, as far as updating those maps, you can do that daily. if you're doing that much stuff. You can update those maps daily, but at least make sure you update once a year, as well as contact information, damage contact information. Make sure that you keep that stuff up to date. If you have any questions, please reach out to Leslie Brouillard at our office, leslie@nc811.org. I had to look down and go, I was about to say nc811.com. I've definitely been out. Upcoming meetings, the next state UCC meeting, and I'm going to ask Ann to correct me if there's any changes to this. I kind of populated it yesterday. I think I'm correct. The next meeting is March the 11th. That'll be the second Tuesday in March at Enbridge at 4211 Global Street in Raleigh. They'll meet at 10 a.m. Please be sure, if you are going to attend this meeting in person, to RSVP, because they will be providing lunch after that meeting. The next LRPs, and I know we have some representatives here from these different committees. I will ask for some updates from them after we go through this. The next LRPC meeting was, well, the next one wasn't. The last one was January 15th at 11, and we'll ask for some updates from our chair. The board meeting was January the 17th. Again, I'll ask for some updates if there were any shortly. The next board meeting will be in April at Chatola Resort, and I'll have some more information about that later. For information about 811 and UCC events, please visit that events calendar, and that can be found at nc811.org or on the North Carolina 811 app, which you're right, Roger, that app is a free download for anyone who's interested. Google and Apple, is that, I'm saying that correctly? Android. Thank you. Apple and Android. Sure. I'm trying to put a plug out here for Google. I hope my guy back here is listening. I'm trying. Apple and Android devices. So if you're interested in having that app available to you, it's a free download. Let's talk about some numbers, and this is going to be numbers for December. Locate requests for the month of December were actually up 10.01%. Locate requests for the month of December, 202,000 and change. The prior December, they were 184,000, which means that locate tickets were up just under 5% for the year, 4.7% increase. The most locate requests that we've ever processed, 2,803,579 for the year. That just 11 years ago for the entire year, there were 1.2 million. In 11 years, that's way more than doubled. Anytime locate requests go up, transmissions go up. Transmissions for the month of December, just over 1 million. Last December, 998, which means that transmissions for the year were up 6.2%. 15,163,299. And since we do have some new faces, I'm going to give you a little information to kind of put in your back pocket. A transmission is how many utilities are notified about every single locate request. Statistically, right now, if it hasn't changed, 5.4, for every single locate request that goes out, there are 5.4 utilities notified, and your utility operators pay a fee for every single transmission that they are listed on. Okay? Let's talk about some numbers for Mecklenburg County for the month of December. New tickets were almost flat, 0.3%, 13,002. And total tickets for Mecklenburg for the month of December, 26,188. An average locates per day for the month of December, 1,378. Ticket volume for the year for Mecklenburg County, new tickets were actually down just shy of 4%, 191,417. But total tickets for Mecklenburg County for the 2024 year were almost flat, 2% decrease, 350,095 locate requests for the 2024 year for Mecklenburg County. Ticket distribution for Mecklenburg, of those 26,000 locate requests, Charlotte coming in with 21.5. The next biggie is Huntersville at 2,178. Anything under 10, I've removed from this screen to kind of clean it up, just so you can see where the larger areas were being hit. But definitely inside the city limits, Huntersville, Matthews, Cornelius. Some information about damages. For the month of December, there were 843 damage events reported. Those damage events could be an actual cut line or a scratch down the protective coating. Mecklenburg County reported 121 damage events for the month of December. You know, Blake came in just one under. Damage per 1,000 transmissions. I know most of you have heard me say this before, but this is where we're actually comparing like to like. Just because Anson County is smaller than Mecklenburg, statistically, the number of transmissions are still going to be the same. So we want to compare them like to like. Anson County was rocking it this month in the green. You can see again, like to like, where we measure up on those damage events per 1,000 transmissions. And then just a little graph showing you those damages over the course of the year. That bunch of misfits is your education team. And then a PDF copy of this presentation, as well as our audio video copy, will go out to the ncucc.org website in case you need to go out and grab some information. But if you ever need numbers, please let me know. Let me see if I can get some information for you. I'll be glad to do that. With that, I'm going to turn this back over to our fearless leader. But I am going to go back and hit a couple slides because I already know he's got some information he wants to talk about.
Well, if it's information as much as it is a discussion. But as I was, Tammy and myself was texting last night, late yesterday evening, last night, whatever, about the presentation and everything. Looking over it this morning before I came in, there's some shocking numbers up there. That'd be fair, Stephen. That's right. To me, it's shocking in the sense of our locates per day fluctuate about 100 tickets month to month, anywhere from 1378 to 1478. That's pretty normal. 3-hour tickets is up almost 50%. One that really got me is the retransmits. 138.5%. Thinking about that, do we have contractors out there that doesn't know about the 3-hour ticket? So they're going out there, they're seeing things, but they're not seeing marks. So they're thinking, well, I need to retransmit it. In a way, that tells me they're not checking positive response also. The almost 50% is the contractors that know to do 3-hour tickets. Both of those numbers, my opinion, is ridiculous. I'm not picking on locators, but that's proof right there that locators are not doing their job. Which in turn is slowing everything down in terms of contractors are on a deadline on every project that they're on. So if they're waiting their full 72 hours, to go to work, they're going out there, they're noticing a facility that's not located. They're either going to retransmit because they don't know to do a 3-hour, but we're doing a 3-hour also. So now that has delayed again from this process or this project getting started. I don't know what the solution is for it. You know, we always hear, well, we're understaffed. Everybody's understaffed. We can't keep beating that dead horse. If we're taking on more facility owners to locate their facilities and we're not getting it done, then we need to reevaluate what we're doing. Because that's hurting everyone. One of the contractors, he's online. They do a lot of the services for these new buildings. And these people these investors that's invested in these projects and these multi-million-dollar apartment complexes, condos and all of that, are chomping at the bits to get everything hooked up so that they can get their CO so they can start collecting monies back on their investments. The contractors can't do the connections because the facilities are not being located. So it's a trickle-down effect. It's not just affecting one contractor. It's a trickle-down effect where you're into the investor's pockets. Ultimate way to look at it, you're in that facility owner's pocket also because they're not able to collect revenues off of that product that's supplying those buildings. If anybody's got a suggestion of what we can do to make this better, you know, we always talk about clean your house on your tickets and don't update tickets and don't need to be updated. That's a good number. 7.8% to me is a real good number on our updates. But 1 in 4 is taking the place of the updates now because facilities are not being located. Anybody got any suggestions? You got something, I get you.
Suggest locators hire more locators.
That's a problem. I'll say it's a problem. Okay. You shouldn't be embarrassed and be up front. No, and I'm on y'all's side on that. Getting people right now. Knock on wood, we've been fortunate that we have hired roughly about 10 people since the first of the year. We're fortunate. I know finding people. Finding quality people, trying to figure out another way of putting it, is the biggest issue, and that's across the board. That's for anybody. That's right. That's right. A body taking up a position does not make.
Losing somebody is an immediate.
Exactly.
Hiring somebody in the process.
So, obviously, I'm not gonna speak on no other company, I'll just stay straight from the border. I can't say for years, we have asked to increase our staff. It took us almost 6 years for them to allow us to get up to 25. Because us wanting more people, and then also with city council that sits down in the building deciding whether or not they think we need more people to have the final say so on that. But what I would like to address, and I've kept this screenshot for a while, we talked about those 3-hour tickets. So from a damage perspective and a locator perspective, and I'll show you what I've seen, I do understand that time is money. I've worked in power, I work in telecommunications, and I work in water. But what I won't make the exception for is, as we say, we don't call any names, but let's say it's a fiber project. The company that you hired to do this job gets damaged, and they get replaced by another company. So my locators have spent hours on end locating entire neighborhoods for the next company to come in and call an entire neighborhood back in on a 3-hour, an entire neighborhood, 42 tickets. So whatever this gentleman had going on that day, or this gentleman, we're now on the 3-hour tickets for something that we've already marked. And then when we try to contact those contractors, we're getting, well, we just took this over. We need it all marked, our own ticket. So there is another side to those 3 hours that you gotta understand. It's not just not getting to the first ticket. We are supposed to respond to emergency and rush tickets on that gentleman's agreement of 2 hours and 3 hours.
Going by what you were saying, one contractor's been removed because of damages and another contractor came in. Am I correct? For the same work. They can't do a 3-hour ticket because now they have to do a regular locate ticket because it is a new contract. You cannot work under someone else's ticket. Are we turning those over to, Brady's already chomping at the bits on this one, and I'm glad he's here. I didn't know you was gonna bring this up either, so, but, you know, we always talk about the Underground Standards Review Board and all of that. Okay. We need to pass that information along. I forgot, I know I cut you off. But what needs to be done there is a complaint, you hold your papers, is a complaint filed to the Underground Standards Review Board on that, because that is a violation of the law.
So what
Oh
I
my
would,
God.
yeah, let's like, before we get to that, let's communicate. Because Freddie and I both sit on that board, and these complaints are getting larger and larger, the volume's getting higher and higher. So in that situation, and Freddie, you can speak for you, but for me, I would rather communicate first before we get a complaint to the review board, because it just may be just a little bit of communication, education to fix it. And remember, let's go back to the members that are working. Let's communicate with them. Like, if just say, you know, I work with Dan one-on-one with all his contractors. I can go back to Dan and say, hey, I'm going to reach out to this person, but I want you to be aware of it. So the more we can communicate that message and stay unilaterally in the walking steps, then we can, that's how we fix things. And it's a little bit at a time. It's because the system can't handle it. And I know, like you said, you know, hire more locators, but truly, I mean, that is not the absolute solution. Throwing more locators at it, and it's been proven by statistics through CGA, there's been white papers. That's not the answer. It is everybody working together and specifically looking at the projects. Town code projects, those are the ones that are hammering the system hard. That's where we're having the biggest issue. The other ones, not as bad. Anyway, so.
Not calling in more tickets than the work that you can get done is the biggest issue.
No, I was going to ask Dan a question.
Sure.
In a case like that, where we got a contractor that it was not the original contractor that called in ticket number, and they call in for a 3-hour ticket, is there not a filter that says, checks to see if there was an original ticket number before 3 hours?
So I think in this situation, what's happening is you've got a contractor that's calling the tickets in, but they're adding the sub to the ticket. So that's kind of in reference to what you're talking about. It's the same person calling in the ticket, but they think, well, I can, just do a 3-hour and add that to it, add that name to the ticket. So the ticket's originally in that main person. But I want to go back and just reference, I know, Roger, you talked about the retransmit. So in most cases, 99, I'm gonna say 99% of the time, you're gonna do a 3-hour just right after. That's the way the system works, okay? So you do your 3-day, and then you have to go straight to the 3-hour. Then you can only do a 1 3-hour ticket, and everything after that is a retransmit. So most likely, all of those retransmits are coming from, I've not got a response to the 3-hour, so I'm retransmitting it. And if we get, wind of them, we're calling them and saying, look, you're beating your head against the wall. At this point, stop inundating the system for many reasons. One, every member's paying for that transmission. And second, you're not getting a different result. So let's communicate, let's call, let's build those relationships that we're doing, and figure out what we can do. It's great to have, I know we got a new locate team here for the city of Charlotte, right? So One Call Concepts, this is a great day to gather numbers, gather information. Not to put you on the spot, but welcome to the crazy world of Meg. So anyway, going back to that, it's got to be bottom line communication and meeting. I know Robert, with Piedmont, with Heath and all, you guys are having weekly meetings, sometimes bi-weekly. That's what it's going to take. We're just going to have to play the game the best we can.
In Dave's case, what can he do? What he should have done, what I think he should have done, and I don't know if this is right, is call that contractor and say, you cannot call a 3-hour locate in because you're not the one that really originated the ticket. And by the law, the way we've been interpreted on the DRB is each excavator has to call their own ticket. I can't excavate under somebody else's ticket.
Well, if your name's on that ticket in the remarks, you are covered. So
That's like we
it
have
is a-
one company that does all the tickets for all of their subs, and they
Right.
hold their
if
self-responsible.
we find that they're not on that ticket, then it is not about it. Because they're the ones out there working, they're the ones that are, if there's a damage, it's gonna ultimately, be on them. Of course, it's gonna roll back up to who put the ticket in, but if they're not listed under there, then it's.
Was that the case, Dave? Were this added to that original contractor's ticket?
What
Was it a separate, totally different contract?
So that other contractor, you come,
Previous tickets from the
you're
previous.
coming in behind me because I got kicked off. Are you listed as one of the subs on that ticket?
On the previous ticket, no.
So let us.
So it's a new contract all the way across.
So they should have never been worked for the 3-hour ticket in mind.
Right.
Something funky had to go in for it to work.
Get the steps in, get the steps.
Something to see the system.
Okay, so just to back up for just a second, definitely, if you're seeing that, call me, because I know you'll educate, but then as well, I will educate. And then if they still persist, then we can go a little further. But definitely, and it's not an excuse. I completely 100%. But if somebody didn't know, just didn't know doesn't mean you're doing it right, but you do need to be educated. So give me the opportunity and I'll reach out to them and say,
I see.
Roger, are they a member of ours, one of our associations?
I don't know what name I could say.
I was gonna say, if there was another utility contractor, it's a member of the agency or mutual right, and not both have ways of educating them.
Right. I mean, like Cody was saying, and I hope locators see this too. A lot of your contractors that you shouldn't be having issues with, that I'm not gonna tell you does everything right all the time, but they're in that upper 90% doing it right. Is members of like Duke of the Carolinas, the Carolinas AGC, these two big associations that's playing a big part, and Dan's in on it too, on this new law change. So we have these two big associations, per se, sitting at the table with facility owners and others, trying to make the law work for everybody. It's not one-sided. Even though they're trying. I'm gonna get on you.
What Dan's saying is right, there needs to be more communication.
Yes,
And that's the first step before you file with the DRB. What I would follow that with is, if you've done the communication and the education route, then to get a response, you may have to file a claim with the DRB, which is what you do, just go online, do the DRB and then the form, file a claim.
When you get finished, no, I just want to say, I put the numbers up for the year. So monthly, those numbers back and forth, but just
But
down.
one more thing, Roger. I'm sorry. The reason I'm concerned about what Dave's saying is because his resources are going over there to this guy that's illegally calling a 3-hour ticket in. And I might have a job on the other side of town, but I need to locate it, and he can't get somebody over there to locate it. That's why I'm going to help you.
I know you got the list. All right, Cody, I ain't forgot about you back there. You're gonna kill me.
I do want to thank Cody and them have been doing an excellent job. We've done 87,000 plus since January 3rd. We have a weekly conference call with those guys, and they really, really helped out. I think we worked good together. It's helped out a lot. And what we typically do, as soon as we do all our locates, we don't depend on anybody, but we'll send that spreadsheet that first day and say we're starting in column 1 and we're working away from this. We try to do 20,000 foot at a time. I know that seems a lot when you work 60, 70, 80,000 foot job. So we try to split them up, and then I need to get his, sure, so we can shoot them with that. But I think it's been with Heath and everything. Heath Mom's done an excellent job. Like I said, we've done a lot of footage this year.
I think that's worked out.
Yes, it's worked out very well. We appreciate you.
It'll be within the last 6. I said 6 months. But time flies.
Yes, 3 months, right, since the last meeting, we worked very good. Yeah.
It's all year last year.
But yeah, but like I said, I do think things are getting better in the meeting, like Anna said. It's working great.
All right, Cody, I'm coming to you. Nobody else said it. I'll get back here.
I'm good with these. I want to speak on like what the thing was getting at, and unfortunately, I've already spent a whole year with this back and forth, lovely PRG and law, lawyers, unfortunately. The unfortunate thing about the excavator notice, when it comes in Title 1, your law actually do not dictate specifically that the sub cannot work under a ticket if they're not listed. They can if they are working on a contractor under the liable party. So the liable party can take an ownership and liability for their sub. They can have any sub work on that ticket. That's why I'm just going to put, I got a key ticket out there to install a water. If I employ AMN Towers to do it, as long as I remain control liability responsibility of that ticket, he is allowed to work under it. That is how I can't get you guys to back me up on that. I've asked your lawyers to back me up on that, and they don't. And that's where the clarity of the law needs to be very, very important. I got to pull up right now. There's nothing in here that says a contractor cannot work unless their name is on the ticket. And unfortunately, that's where I'm hindered. I've asked Jim Collins, if he's part of the review board, to like renegotiate the laws and everything. But supposed to be rewording that, I saw proposed laws already. They actually did add some verbiage on that, to what color defines what an excavator is. All the law currently says is excavator.
Well, I mean, certainly we cannot interpret, but that has typically been the rule of thumb is if your name's not listed on that, the person calling in that ticket is not taking that responsibility. So,
I can tell you, we make decisions and find people that weren't.
Yeah.
That's the way the board of general voted, I guess, the way they're advocating.
Already said something that
Yeah, but
Yes.
he's saying he's talking to that attorney.
And they came back, I felt like it doesn't go all.
Out-of-town companies, you know, where they have the home.
I'm proud of that, John.
So that means they're not gonna.
No, that was the main point. I said, not, I said, maybe on the shoot. That's what we think. Disrupting us getting to the water.
Like I said, he has a valid locating ticket that I need to get to immediately. But another contractor calls in a 3-hour rush for an entire neighborhood. I don't care how many people you throw at, nobody located an entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
On one day. It shouldn't even.
If you want to get out of this,
But it takes away from, what he said specifically, takes me off the more important job to go back and do something we've already done because of the 3-hour, they can't specify what utility they need located.
And you make a point there to keep something for me is it also takes away y'all from assisting a contractor that has found something that nobody knew was there. So we call, open,
Somebody can come up.
that somebody can come there. And, you know, we all get together and try to figure it out. A contractor is not gonna sit there and wait. You know, time is money, Daniel, you said. But yeah, communication is one of the biggest things.
Go ahead, don't look at me, you got it, it's on.
I was coming here this morning for Bear, I really was. And, I said, no, I'm not gonna do this, and you said everything that was in my head, and you will still, so we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. My comments are two parts. I'd like to find out the clarity of what you guys are talking about, because last week, in an effort to get a project done that was hugely delayed due to locates, I sent a sub to do a piece to hit an unmarked gas tank. Okay, me and Mr. News already talked about it, we're cool. But he wasn't on the ticket. I was on the ticket. But this particular sub's not on the ticket. PRG comes out, does their investigation, you know, they do what they're supposed to do. You guys are on the hook, the ABC Construction's not on there. Okay, we're on the hook, I get it. So if we're on the hook, we're on the hook. If we're not, please let me know. If you get somewhere with that, please let me know. No, so that just got brought up here, James, was talking about. My first comment, it was, to Ms. Ann. I respectfully and politely disagree with what she just said when she said the answer is not to hire more locators. If we're not gonna hire more locators, if the community is not gonna hire more locators, okay, we're not gonna hire more locators. Everyone is still calling in the same amount of tickets. The locator community cannot keep up with it. Then tell me, God, we're not gonna hire more locators, that's not the answer. So you can only call in 10,000 foot a week instead of 20,000. Make me do that. When is a law a law? When's a law a law? The law says, we come to these meetings, and you guys, and I love every one of you, the board, they say, the law says this. When's the law a law? I came here this morning on 85 and passed the trooper, and I was doing 74 and 65. You didn't pull me over, but I was speeding. If I would have been doing 104, you think you would have got? True. So if you miss a couple tickets, no big deal. I get it, let's communicate. If you miss 3 months worth of tickets, it's a big deal. To me, it is. I have 3 huge projects that are due January 31st that may not get done because of locates. That 50%, 3-hour tickets, I bet 100% of it might be me. Really might. Or it might be, maybe me and him got the 50 together. I've got tickets that were called in November and it's not been marked for 1 time. And I tell you what, the culprit is not in this room and they're not online. I have to say online because I know Mr. Meeks is online. I don't want to get mad at me. I bet you your retransmitters, 138%, might be one four-letter company that's not represented in this room. Maybe, I don't know. If Tammy could break it down, or if she wanted to, next month, can you say Charlotte Water was the culprit, or Keith was the culprit, or USIC was the culprit? And communication is great, but I can promise you right now that I have 4 supervisors in the field who's made phone calls this morning to locators to say, please come and help me. And they know my guy's number, and they go, I ain't answering them.
And that goes back to that, from a contractor standpoint, contractors trying to communicate.
Yep.
But it's a one-way street.
I should be in Key West with my feet propped up drinking mimosas because my January project should be done. But I'm over here scrambling, and it will probably be January 31st, Friday night at 10 o'clock, and I'm sending something over to Google last minute because I called in located 60 days ago. Now, we battled this. We battled it all last year. We battled it. Well, we're going to battle it this year. What's the answer? Who knows? I have to disagree with Ms. Ann.
I'm not saying that that's not, I mean, certainly we need to stay up, but I'm saying that's not the all fix all.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. It's got to be a combination because when you look back historically, we've never had the volume of telecommunication projects.
That is correct.
Okay, and then secondly is they've never had the type of technology to put this stuff in the ground that you do now. You can go as fast as you can, but unfortunately the locate part can't keep up with your technology.
I agree.
So that's where we've got to, these meetings,
right.
Yeah. So what is the fix? I mean, the only other thing we know to do is try to communicate, give give the locators a map or something to tell them each week, hey, I'm going to be here. Can you stay ahead of me?
Correct.
I mean, there's other solutions, thinking outside the box. I mean, there's all sorts of solutions. What works best for you? And every county's different. So
I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. Now, like I said, if we're not going to hire more locators, then mandate that we bring the ordinance meeting in the middle. Let's bring the volume down. AT&T and Google and Windstream and Spectrum say, you only can call in this many locations this month. When you get to 100,000, you better not call in another one. I don't know that that's the answer.
And that's a good point, and I've said that multiple times to the members. You've got to be realistic in what your contractors can do, and that's the part that's not staying aligned. Their expectations are not changing, have not for years, and the volume continues to increase year after year after year.
Right.
And that's my plea, is to the members, hey guys, understand the system can't handle it. It can't. And so, but also I understand there's this money sitting out there that has stipulations to it too. If you're receiving grants, you got to get it in the ground within a certain period of time. I get all of that. But that's the frustrating part of it, is things are not aligning with the amount of volume in the system. there's just not a big enough pool out there to have and speak. I mean, you guys, you can speak to it. It's hard to find a seasoned locator. You're having to start from square one. You know, you get a new locate company on the scene, they're gonna grab from one locate company to the other. It's just the way the industry works. So
We have the data.
yes.
We've had it for years. I've attended this meeting for years. We have the data, January, February, March, April, it's gone up every month for years. Next month's gonna be more than this month and so on and so forth.
And there's, and I know, Scott, because you've been emailing me, so, and I'll just take, for instance, a municipality we're dealing with, you know, in Newton County. That's an even different problem, because, you know, their money comes from taxpayers. So, like Daniel, you said, you're dealing with commissioners, you're dealing with city councilmen that are managing your budget. So that's a whole other problem too. You need these locators, but they won't give you the money to hire them. So what do we do? I mean, do we go to the, you know?
I agree with that. So that brings me back to my question. When's a law? You know when a law is? When the Charlotte Observer says Sanders Construction was fined $5 million that they had to pay because they didn't follow the law. Then he'll follow the law. Worry about business. So I get the city says, not in my budget, I can't afford it. We can't put nobody else on. I can't find a locator. I understand all that. But when's the law? When somebody's held accountable.
My question, if you're talking about you're on this deadline to finish by in January. Did y'all do project meetings prior to starting with the facility owners, locators, and all that?
Now, I'm not gonna say 100% for all projects, but definitely some we've been on out in the field. And listen, I've been with the big boss, if that's what you want to call it, for these locating companies, and they completed and had big time people from Google call, and they said, "I'm sorry, we cannot get to it."
I'm just curiosity. Let me get back over here, Christian and Brian both waving you down. I ain't about you. You started on the list.
All right, so I guess my point is, and it was brought up a little bit earlier, I know we have a small amount of companies that are here that are locators in the area. We'll call, obviously, I believe nowhere. Is there any way for 811, and I know they're not specifically tied to the locators, but is there any way to outreach throughout the country to see if any other locate companies are willing to participate in the market? Because obviously we have a huge market here, and I know there's contracts with utility owners, but is there any way to try to get some new talent and companies in here to distribute the work?
Yeah, and I mean, that, we don't have a dog in that.
Well, I'll wait till you got over there.
All I was going to say, Tristan, is I went to a conference in November for liaisons, folks who do what I do. And there were people there from California to Ohio, all across the nation. Every state is having the same issue. So, it's nationwide.
Personally say this is a whole lot nicer for those new people than the first one I was at 9 years ago. That one was a little rough. As this is, and again, I'm on the
State
utility. As a co-chair, this is a problem across North Carolina. I've attended Mississippi, I've attended South Carolina. It's a problem everywhere. You just asked a question about hiring more. With Badger, we have a locating division. I will not bring it into the Carolinas with this one problem right here. I know what our operators make. I can't hire operators for our trucks. That is a very large salary. I don't know what the locator makes, but I don't want that hassle. That is the only reason. Could it be a big jump in revenue for us? Yes, but it's the headache and all of a sudden now I'm sitting in here and I'm getting my ass chewed out during this meeting. And it's, to me, when the grant money comes down, grant money needs to be diverted over to the locating side as well. Just my 2 cents.
That's the part we did.
Don't they get paid per location? Yes. What you just said right there. Get more done, make more money. I mean, it just.
Trying to, I totally understand what you're saying, 100%. I've been with Independent Utility, I've been with NC 811, I've been with Virginia 811, and now with a contractor. You know, we sat here 8 years ago going through these issues. I'll never forget, I stood in for Tammy when she missed a meeting. Do you remember that one? I was barely made it out the door that started. I was scared, take me back to the mountains. Let me handle my own region, but trying to find quality people is one. You mentioned that earlier. That's one thing. I know we're developing a locating school in Virginia for S&N's employees. The other thing is making sure that projects are managed properly. You know, there's a lot. I've been telling Ann for years, the Dominions, who I came from, whether it's the gas company, the Dukes, your contractors are out there and you're the ones paying the bills and you're seeing all these updates. Now I'm riding around with locators and I'm seeing constant updates on projects that should have been done. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a utility easement issue, but why are they calling it in? That's the other thing. I think if we all get together and work on this, we can make progress. But coming to this meeting is the first step. Being active. Roger, how many of these meetings do you attend? 2, 3? You were just in the foothills. It's just don't think it's only here. Just like Sean said, it's just not in North Carolina. It's in Virginia. The one thing Virginia did have is a guy named Sue. And when you came in front of them, I was scared to meet the guy. He was really he was very big about damage prevention, but his heart was really into it. And you got to be able to enforce the law. That's where we go back to the law. But again, I'm just saying it's a part for all of us. Yes, and maybe hiring. One thing is that I've learned on this is when you put a bid out, yeah, you may be a little higher, but if someone is going to do 2 or 3 locates out there, again, we put ours in. So if we have to send a locator from here over to the other side of the eastern part of Virginia or North Carolina, then we can be able to do that because jobs fluctuate. Right now, we're seeing a big increase over in Fayetteville, and we're trying to send resources on over there. So I totally understand what you're saying, and I think it's part of all of us playing a big part. Give an update. Yeah, we are at fault for that. We're going to talk about so we know what we have. So we're getting a liable party.
Lunch for everybody.
Well, let's say, we're talking about this. It really comes down to where we're at. It really comes focused on it. You need to have confidence in communication above all else. When you tell me or you ask me to do something, I take a lot of pride in it. Like, regardless of my answer is good or bad, I want to give you an answer. I might say I can't get to it, or I might not get to it by day. Those answers are going to be true. Something that's going to happen. That's what you have to have confidence in. Problem is those contract locators have to agree to at least set that minimum standard. I call you and say, hey, where are you actually going to be at? I have to trust you're actually going to be there. Because you do a lot of big work too, but your drill can be freaking doing 40 or 50 foot hole. It doesn't move at the same speed as a traditional drilling rod that does 3 inch hole. But that's also the other part of it too, is you gotta understand, it's like you got an actual machine. We're talking about going back to the days of like when it was Wild West, when you used to have horses pull everything. And you need hundreds of horses to pull it. Now they got trained to do that. You guys have legitimately just and trains out there putting the stuff on the ground. But you got people, horses doing the legwork, making it possible. Horses and the people are not going to work as fast or as efficient as the machine. The answer, ultimately, in the end, is to match productivity to what it is. You need machines to locate. You just don't have that right now. That's just not a thing that's out there.
Not to mention the fact that, and I'm not picking on Scott, because Scott and I work together on the Huntsville on the project. They could have 3 teams out there. I got 1 locator. Well, there's no way my 1 locator is gonna keep up with 3 machines. Can't happen.
To piggyback and touch on what he was saying, I see that there's a disconnect between the technology with, the guys in the field and our locators. Maybe, I'm speaking a little bit above my budget here, but maybe, somebody can match that technology. Because again, that's the disconnect. We need to make sure that these locators are proficiently trained, and I understand that it may be hard to train these locators at the turnover rate that they come in and they go. I spoke with Malcolm. I'm sure you're familiar with Malcolm. Yes. And we kind of had a heart about the discussion because I asked him a little bit about his job. And I understand that, a lot of the locators are underpaid. But who doesn't want more money? Let's just keep it real. But in an ideal world, the turnover rate for these locators is very high. Like you go to locate something, say like town of Harrisburg, city of Harrisburg, their plans were not updated. Went out there, hit a water main, it blew up, turning something ugly, right? The locators didn't want to take, they didn't want to take fault for that. Neither did my team. So it's just like, hey, like who's going to be held accountable? Not digress. The locators, they have to be trained proficiently, and hiring more, it may help, but again, goes back to what everybody's correlating to. Good help is hard to find. Good help is hard to find. But I see how it's very hard to retain that job when you get 3 strikes. You may be thinking you're doing the best you can, but hey, that equipment might be outdated. Again, it goes back to what I initially started saying. Maybe we need to match the technology. We need to upgrade the equipment. We need to have some kind of funding so that they have top of the line equipment to assist them in their job, so that it's totally not reliant on the knowledge and training. But again, that's where the equipment can help, help facilitate aid the locators.
It's also going to fall back on facility owners to make sure that their maps is up to date, that what they're giving these locators to locate. Because they can only locate what's on the map that they are given. And so I see both sides. Unfortunately, I had to ride the fence here. I don't mean unfortunate, but I've worked with Cody for a while. I've seen some of his maps because we have been trying to find something or found something that was in the ground, and we're looking on maps that's not there. And we'll reach out to Joy, and all of them, Robert, to try to figure out what this is. Stuff is put in years ago, never made it to the maps for today. So as contractors, you find that you get with the locators, and everybody's doing their best to try to find out, one, what it is, where's it from, and is it even in service? So that's a big thing, and that's where it still comes back to communication. Everybody communicating together to try to prevent.
It's not just locators and the locate, it's mapping, it's,
full
making
circle.
sure everybody kind of stays.
How many contractors are in the room? Besides me. All right, something y'all all need, and I'm speaking from a contractor side a little bit here. Y'all need to understand, municipalities, the ones that locate the water lines and sewer lines, are the ones in this room are at the most disadvantaged. Because they are limited, like he said, by what city council gives them for budget, the number of people they can have. Versus, your utilities, and I'm talking about your energy people, your communications people, who are also in this room, some of them, which are private entities, that are controlled by the government, but they have much, much bigger budgets and they have contracts for outside locators. These municipalities, most of them, especially the big ones like Charlotte Water, have their own locate teams, and they're limited again by budget. So they're kind of like the third wheel in the locate process, because they don't have the budgets that your Duke locators, your USICs, all these other locators that are locating for Duke and AT&T and these other people. And they're limited to the number of people they have. The other thing is 90% of what I see when I look at these numbers, and you can go back to the common ground lines, and you can go back to other things, is fratricide. It's Duke on AT&T, AT&T on Duke, Google on AT&T, Google on Duke. I'm not accusing anybody, I'm just telling you what we see in the statistics. And by far the greater number of locates that are called in are for these type of projects, for communication line projects, for energy line projects, versus a water or sewer project. Now, granted, when a water or sewer project is called in to be located, it's usually big. It's in footage. But unfortunately, as a contractor, you need to consider, okay, when you're talking about Charlotte Water's locators, you've got a limited pool there, and they can't always get to everything as fast as USIC or one of the other locators that work for Duke or AT&T or Google. So sometimes you have to communicate to them, hey, what's your workload like? This is what we want to do when we want to do it. Can you meet it, and kind of meet them halfway? Because mostly, and I'm not just talking about Charlotte Water, Raleigh's that way, Monroe, all these smaller municipalities too have a limited number of locators locating for their water and sewer systems. And their systems are very complicated. They don't seem on the face of it they would be, but I know one of his problems, like they're talking about the maps, and I can tell you why some of the stuff's not on the maps, especially like Huntersville, Cornelius, that area. Years and years ago, over 40 years ago, there were two separate systems. There was a county system and there was a city system. Those two city systems merged from a water standpoint, and some of the stuff didn't transfer. They didn't get maps on some of the old county lines, some of the older lines that are out there. Now they're updating as fast as they can, and a lot of it has been caught up in the last 10 years. But I'm just telling you a problem that they're facing, that as a contractor for one of the bigger utilities, you may not be aware of, that your municipal water systems have. So this is where the communication that Ann's talking about comes in. It also comes in from a project management standpoint as a contractor. If you can communicate with these guys and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, they can communicate back to you. We can get to this part of that for you if you'll give us 2 or 3 days or a 5-day window to get to this other part of it. And it seems to work pretty well for us when we do that. That's all I can tell you on that. Now, the more locator part, I agree with you on that from the private utility standpoint, where we're talking about your AT&Ts, your Googles, your Dukes, these big entities. They tend to let one contract, and I'm going to get yelled at by the locators in here, I know that. They tend to let one contract to one company locate for them, and with the number of tickets they're getting, to me, they need to let multiple more contracts in their hot areas like Mecklenburg County, Wade County. And I think that would help the problem, and I think that would help too. But I'm telling you, what Ann and Roger are telling you, it does help to communicate. We've seen our mislocates and our stuff go way down when we started this communication. Now, having said that, I'll bring a statistic up that Roger went over that I don't think anybody in this room caught. The number of transmissions went up, the number of 3 hours went up. But the number of total calls for this year went down. So that tells me, okay, we got the same number of locators, or we say we increased locators and the number of calls went down. Why did the number of transmissions in this and 3 hours go up? That's what.
It's all telco projects. Look at your top. Yeah. Yeah. No, go. Go up there and look.
Yeah, can you make that bigger, please? That's why I'm walking up here.
All I'm saying is, give your municipality, your water system guys, benefit of the doubt, because they're the low guys on the totem pole, and they're doing their damn best.
I'm not reading every one of them. What this says is the top 200 callers from January 1st of 2024 through 12/31/2024. The whole year. First one's AT&T Utility Operations. Is the total tickets they did, Ann?
That is correct.
18,645. France Telecom's number 2, RH Underground's 3, Piedmont Utility Group, ULCS, RG Communications, Lambert's Infrastructure, ITG, J&J that's your top 10. I'm not, promise you I'm not reading all of them. But, the top 10, excluding.
ITS does a little bit of both, but.
Okay, I was gonna say, really, all communications, except for one, that's Dan's fault. But no, that tells you right there. I know Dan's won't say.
No.
Okay.
That's fine.
But
I agree.
it's no saying the proof's in the pudding. All communication, the top 9 out of 10 is communication.
And back to Scott's point, the frustrating part about all of this grant money is there's no money for locators.
Right.
And that's, it's, Lewis has beat that bandwagon. I know the folks on Google. It's, I'll circle back around the wagon and ask him if there's been any momentum, but to my knowledge, no.
Call your senators, call your reps.
Yes. Yeah.
Funny, right? They listen. When you call, they listen. I know you don't think they do, but they do.
I just said it, and I thought after I said this, just walking over there, I'm not bashing the communications people that's putting that in. And that to me sounded like that when I said that, the top 9 out of 10, and I'm not. So please don't take it that way. But there's the proof in the pudding. So far to me, this has been a great thing. Thank you, Stephen. But I'm gonna drop back for a minute, talking about locators. You get them in, you get them trained. Next thing you know, they're in junk ship. And I did ask permission before I was gonna bring this up. But John, sitting right there with me, I was like, few years, because I've been with you for a few years, John. And now John's at Charlotte Daniel. I can take the locator from Pete to Charlotte. I'm picking on you too, but that's what happens. And I hate to say this was almost a perfect scenario, John, and I did ask you. But that is what's happening. These locate companies are bringing them in, training them, educating them, and somebody else goes over. I think you 75 more cents on the highway, you come up here. Yeah, and that's what you get. Next thing you know, and I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice because they're gonna give me 75 cents more. And
They're not alone, man.
that's right. It's not, like Ray said, it's not gonna make the numbers go up because all they've done is almost a lateral move. It's still a locator. All right. With that, like I said, so far, I think it's been a great meeting, a lot of good discussion. I'm gonna ease over here to Tracy. I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all done warm me up pretty, I gotta take this day off after this, I'm tired. Yeah, they'll roll around, that's right. What about damages and all of that for Charlotte Park? Tickets, no tickets, your fault, my fault.
It's all your fault. So in December, we had 8 water service that were hit. Names, there were 4. Sewer services, we had 9, and sewer mains, we had 1. AT&T, we had 8 damages that our crews made that were marked, 5 of them that were not marked. In G, we had 5 of them that were hit, they were not marked. Google, we had 1 main hit. Spectrum, we had, and it was marked. Spectrum, we had 3 mains hit and 3 that were marked and 2 that were not.
On y'all's lines that was hit, did those contractors have tickets?
So they're still under investigation.
But we can't discuss that right now. It's top secret information. For those of you that didn't catch what she said earlier, this is her last meeting to represent Charlotte Park. She is moving on to bigger and better things.
On the utilities.
Tell me.
I'm moving over to the engineering side. I will be a utilities inspection inspector. So I won't be in the UCC meetings. I'll be making sure the contractors out there are calling in their tickets and telling them to come to these. Probably.
I'll make sure you don't have to talk to Rod.
Hi, Joel.
Yeah, in the month of December, I'm going to just say this, it's good news, bad news, as always, when it comes to damages reporting. Nobody wants to hear about damages, but in December, if I heard you all right, there was 121 damages overall.
For the state.
No, for Mecklenburg.
Mecklenburg.
For Mecklenburg.
I'm sorry.
And that's what I'm reporting on here. There were 94 gas damages in Mecklenburg County last month.
Well, that's almost all the 121.
Yeah.
All
All right, so I
right.
wanted to
Get your stuff located.
Yeah. And here's the top 3, there was top 3 damages were root causes of no notification. Okay. Excavator dug prior to the marks being just potholed. So they didn't pothole, they just dug. And then improper practice of excavation was the 3rd. So of those 3 root causes, and again, it's not all the same contractors or excavators, variety. The top 3 root causes were 61% of the damages in December. Those 3 right there. 76% of those damages were on the excavator side of root causes. And that was very alarming to me, but how many do you think went to homeowners? Anybody? There were no homeowner damages reported.
That's almost like 1 or 2%, but
There was 0. Okay. And that even goes for no notification. You would think homeowners would know better. The people that know better are getting the no notifications. The very good news on it, I'm going to go completely at the opposite here. There was the damage per thousand number for the state of North Carolina. Each of the last 4 years has reduced each year. Okay. And that is since we started a watch and protect program with P&G. All right. No, he's on the damage repair unlocatables. But he knows who I'm talking about. And in Mecklenburg County, SAM is the company that is your watch and protect contacts, and they do a wonderful job working with Keith, with the contractors. They visit the job sites. They do all this stuff. And if you could communicate through watch and protect, I believe that's been a major reason the damage per thousand has gone down. It all goes to the communication. Working together, getting the job done, going home the way you came to work safely. So just to give you the drop, in 2021, the DPT was 2.30 per 1,000 tickets, which isn't too bad, but that's what it was. This year, it's 1.84.
What's going down?
That's a significant, yeah.
And that goes back to communication.
Absolutely, yeah. And that again is since the Watch and Protect program was instituted into the system of damage prevention. So keep working together, keep bringing those numbers down. Yeah, December looks bad, but overall for the year, maybe in December, people are thinking of the holidays and, that kind of stuff. I don't know, we can't justify anything, but it was just, when I look at the overall picture, working together is proof of the pudding that things can get better. So that's what I got. Thank you.
The three root causes.
Yeah.
Who determines that?
We go,
Obviously, the no notifications of dead giveaway.
yeah. Well, of course, we get a PRG report, all right? But then we, as a company, we review all of those before these numbers are reported here today.
I'm just,
Yeah.
now, the no notifications, are those contractors being turned over to 811 so that they can educate? And I ask this every month, and I know the answer.
Oh, okay.
I'm just,
Mark, I got a question on everything he just said. How many of those were Duke on P&G or AT&T on P&G or any of the other utilities on P&G?
Well, like I said, I don't have the list of names of who did what, but this is a root cause category. And
you correct me if I'm wrong on this, Joe, when he says contractor or excavator, that's a all of us. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you what Common Ground Alliance report shows: over 88% of those three root causes is utility on utility.
Facility on.
Yep.
well, just for this report, none of the gas damages were due to anything from P&G. But P&G may have had, in their excavations, they may have had other damages. That's not what this report is. This is only a report on what was hit on gas.
Oh, you got anything on damage or anything like that?
Or state UCC,
Wait a minute, huh?
or state UCC.
Or
I'm getting there.
As far as excavation goes, no. State UCC, the dates are May 14th, 15th, 16th, I believe. Is that correct, Ian? Either 14th, 15th, 16th. The registration is coming out any day now. It's in Wrightsville Beach. It's Illumina. Golf is going to be limited to 72 people this year. And the vendor booths are going to be very limited also. There was not a ton of room there this year. There's 250 rooms we have. We bought the whole hotel.
The hotel link on the website here, it is open, so you can book your rooms. Also want to remind you, when you do go online to book it, it's going to show a $30 per day charge, but actually it is $15. So when you check out, you'll see that. It's just that they cannot change that on there, but it is reflected in the checkout process.
Is that for parking?
Yes, for the parking.
Any question for Sean from the state UCC side?
Yes, sir. You can do.
Hyper working for Google. We're doing a big build in Union County that's pertaining to Meck County, so good there. We are starting some projects along Albemarle Road next month. So we'll be back in the city of Charlotte a little bit. And then we got some projects up in Annapolis area we're going to start. So not much in Mecklenburg County for us right now, but it's coming. I've already seen what's coming mid-year, so we're coming.
All roads got a lot of stuff in.
Oh, I want to, oh, no, you done, I know that. I saw your list, which I liked, and it said, AT&T had like 18,000 locates. I looked down for Hyper, obviously, with 5,600. We were in 15th spot. So I just got one question.
Don't ask me, ask her.
If I can't get 5,600 locates located, how in the hell are they getting 18,000? And I know how, because they're paying them on the side, I've already heard.
I don't do anything with locates, but I, from my side, I do temporary traffic controls. I have pretty much half the state of North Carolina and all of South Carolina. And as I was walking in, I found out I was fortunate to wait. So, with that being said, what I'm noticing out in the field between NCDOT, SCDOT, and CDOT, they're really cracking down. So if you are on a restricted road, which means you cannot take the road at 9 a.m. That does not mean you can take the road at 8:59 or at 8:59, and you have to be off by 4. So what you have to take into consideration, and it isn't just for flaggers, of course, any other traffic control. We cannot put a cone in that road until 9 a.m. You can scream at my flaggers all you want. They're gonna call me and I will come out and I will show you. That is the law. It is not their lazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do have some, I'm not gonna lie. But it's what we have to do. If we impede one vehicle and they call, we are the ones getting in trouble, not your company, not Duke, not Dominion, not Enbridge, Verizon. We are the ones that could potentially take the fine. That is one thing I wanted to bring up. Another thing with NCDOT, they tried it out last year and it actually did save lives. Obviously, we're trying to save contractors' lives, construction workers. So last year they implemented January 1st on a multi-lane with any lane closure, 45 miles per hour or more. It is required to have a message board, an arrow panel, and a crash truck. Statistics have shown from 2023 to 2024, we have saved lives because of this. So I do a lot of the contracts. I'm the one that goes through with all my customers and stuff. I will let you know in 2025, they're going to start cracking down. So my company has been great. We're actually looking for a lot to store some of our equipment because we're getting tires stolen. I'm not sure why.
Rock Hill.
It's by the Charlotte Airport. They keep taking our tires off the EPs, batteries out of the TMAs, the crash trucks. It's been a mess, but I've been coming to these because obviously I'm trying to get the word out for flagger force, but I also want you guys to understand, we hire full-time employees. We train them by the state typically. We don't train them flagger forces way, we train them this way. You guys know anything about, certain certifications? We are required in North Carolina to be TCI certified before we can official. We pay for that for our employees and we hire full-time. So, we do try our best. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I've been out on job sites. We're out and about. We visit with our customers. We visit with our employees. Yesterday, I was in downtown Charlotte, which, by the way, I hate it. But downtown Charlotte, walking with an inspector and NCDOT, just to make sure for the upcoming project we are equipped for everything we need. So we take our job serious. Lives, it is absolutely important. I talked at the foothills. I am actually on the chair for South Carolina UCC.
So we have been covering with traffic control as well as safety, safety. Thank you for your time.
You got anything to add, questions, comments? You sure?
Yeah.
Go back and slap David and, Golly, we just let-
Yeah, like I said, I just want to appreciate you and did a good job, and I think the city's actually doing a pretty good job, but with UCS doesn't do the location the first 2 weeks, and then we're having to call them in again, it's creating a mess for everybody. And so, like I said, we haven't, Union County's a different story, but, we haven't had a problem with Charlotte or we're working together, but I think that UCS is causing huge delays. Saying they're marking the ground and don't put marks in the ground, clear the tickets. And you would think as a provider, you know, I understand the city's under limitations, but as you know, big companies, and you think, you know, they're quitting for $1 here and $1 there. Why not give them an extra $3 or $4 and keep them working? I mean, the profit margins on these big companies are, you know, out of sight. And it seems like they're big business making a lot of money, but they don't want to pay the locator a few extra dollars to
I can't answer
do
anything.
the job, do the job right. But anyways, just want to appreciate everybody's help.
Nobody's exempt. I'm getting that micro back there, just give me one, you got it. All right. Don't be scared, I'm not scared. Okay. I'm just happy. Look, y'all are new. You don't have to. You're supposed to say, man, I got a lot out of this, I appreciate you.
Tremaine B. with OCCLS News, located for the city of Charlotte. Any water utilities that's east of 77, that's what we locate. So any issues with district code CH803, just give me a call, we'll be in and out. All right, then.
Okay. Thank you. Just give it to Daniel. You got something from the LRPC, you got something from news, with the new updates coming out for the law. You need to keep going with it.
So I guess start with the LRPC. I think a lot of stuff that we're talking about today is probably good space for that. So it was the next meeting, March 19th, I think. See Ann to get signed up for that if you're interested in coming or join us at the event center or online there. Yeah. I think, yeah, definitely a lot with,
19 is what I got.
Yeah, 19.
Okay. And then there's been a lot of discussion about like, utilities and kind of paying more money and all that stuff, but some of the bigger utilities are regulated. So it's not just an endless paycheck there to pay for more, one cater if you want. It's kind of a relative area. And I think it was mentioned in some, like the low, more locates for locators, the more locators, more locates get done, the more tickets get called in, the more they get paid. I can tell you that's not necessarily the case. So, you know, there's a lot of, you know, speculation and hearsay. So you can't just keep throwing money at a problem. It's not always going to solve. But as far as due damages, we received 18, so way under PhD. So yeah, good job here. After least what was reported. Who knows what's still out there. I don't know if I'm not going to talk too much on the law stuff. You got somebody else get for right.
Don't you look at the camera one time. Just say contact the order, please.
I'm
glad to see you first of the year. Just so glad to see you. famous last word.
Can we be more efficient with it? Like you got the project, but you're not gonna dig until a year later. The locator still has to go out every 2 weeks. to look. When you're done, can we be more efficient? And not calling the locator because the locator still has to go out. Those things might be there for help. They're freeing up a locator to do current projects that we need. Absolutely.
As always, I appreciate everyone for coming out, those that constantly come and we're able to have these conversations and get to the bottom of things and hash things out. Beyond that, Happy New Year, everyone. Keep going.
I don't really have anything. I'm just happy New Year, everyone. I just want to give a shout out to the Charlotte water team for the blips that they had. Yeah, it was a while back. I remember last meeting, they said they were gonna go out and tackle all the, leaks, that was, got swept under the rug that, and they did. They came to my neighborhood. I paid attention with me being out in the field, being in different areas of Charlotte. I seen them. They were definitely hammering down on that. It probably saved a lot of people from crashing, especially with these freezes that we had over the last couple of weeks. So, good job on that. Thank you, guys.
For Heath, out of the 91 damages, we had 9 at fault. We're getting everything. I think it's first time about they were only 10% of the damages. But still had damages, right? But on the other note, I want to make sure everyone's mindful with it being a new year and it's fall and the road conditions being the way they are. We all do work for utilities one way or another, period in the end. We're all in our positions, we're all individuals in utilities. Unfortunately, I knew a person who did this with life last month in a car accident. And now I'm 20 years old, he's one of our locators. He also went to work at Toller, a different locating company. Just be mindful to remind your employees every day, and your family and friends. It can happen with a head-on collision of the young man and the person that ran into him out of the head-on collision. It can happen at any point in time to any of us. Just be mindful. Any loss of life is devastating. As we talked about how the need for people is always ever present, losing one hurts even more, regardless of how we lose them.
Right. Christian. Sure.
Hey, Ryan, did you mention the new member?
S&N has picked up the locating contract for Ripple out in Nags Head, surrounding counties, and we still got the rate speed contract.
I'm just listening and shaking my head. Folks online.
Oh, yeah. Who's on there? I don't know.
Oh, I'm just gonna, ask if anyone online has anything they'd like to share, Jim?
Nope, I don't have anything.
All right. Robert Neely, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the guys up there who's worked with us when we've had the meetings. Appreciate your help and working with us all. And Scott, I'm still trying to help you out there in Indian Trail with that. So just give me a few. I think I may get it taken care of for you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Ashley?
Hey there, thanks. Yeah, just something real quick. I'm Ashley Bonish with the City of Charlotte DOT. I manage the fiber infrastructure for our traffic signal network. The struggle is real over here too. We don't have nearly as much as a lot of these other communications companies, but we struggle as well with facilitating our locates. We're not for profit, so it's all really coming out of our operating budget. And our amount of facilities plus the, number of locate tickets that we're receiving yearly has just increased significantly over the last few years. So we are struggling. We have in-house crews and a vendor that are performing our locates now. We actually have an RFP out now to solicit a new contract for locating services. And just to throw that out there, if there's an issue with tickets not getting completed, I'll put my info as well as Jeff Thompson, who oversees our in-house locates out at our electronic systems lab. So please feel free to reach out if the locates are not getting completed on time. We're always happy to try to help. We definitely don't want to be that one where the facilities aren't getting done because of us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Eric, do you have anything you want to share?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Our next meeting, I can't see.
26th.
February 26th. Wear my glasses 2 different ways.
Mm-hmm. And it should be at Piedmont.
I haven't reached out to them yet. Actually, with the exception of the parking, this has been a fantastic facility. I know Tracy will not be our point of contact after this, but maybe Daniel, or David. Perfect.
Did we get that set up, what me and you talked about last week? Every other month. So it'd be back here in March.
Okay, I'll make sure Piedmont's got the facility available.
Robert Neely's still on there. He can get that set up.
Actually, I have to do that.
Please, ma'am. All right, well, I wanted to end this meeting on a good note. First of all, thank you all for being here. Scott, I want to talk with you afterwards. I have some good news maybe. So I think at the end of the day, and as our Pipes Plus says, we are partners in protecting everyone's safety. So I'm gonna do a shameless plug. If you haven't taken our Pipes Plus training, I would encourage you. It is on, you can go to it from our website, or you can go to ncpipesplus.org. So if you have new hires, this will help them understand all the characteristics while digging around every utility. There's a locator piece, there's an excavator piece, all sorts of information out there. So I'd encourage you to take that. But with that, I do want to recognize one of the folks that are in our meeting today. Roger Richards, if you'll step right up to the front. So interesting enough, back in July, we received a nomination for Roger Richards as a most valuable professional damage prevention. And so I'll tell you a little bit about this program. You know, we've always had the Safe Digging Partner. We have the stickers. We would encourage you, if you do not have our Safe Digging Partner stickers on your vehicles, they are free. All we ask you to do is just take the 811 pledge. It's on our website. If you can't find it, let us know. We'll help you with that. So we'll provide you the stickers. And then secondly, as you get involved and stay involved in your local UCC, we want to, you know, encourage you, if you see someone that is doing things over and above just the normal, we want you to recognize these folks. So Roger Richards has been recognized. So I'm going to read you a little bit about that. Unfortunately, the person that recognized you is Lindsay Ponce. She cannot be here with us today. But back in July, he was actually nominated. It's taken us this long to get this coordinated. And we had to beg Freddie to come, but you know.
Oh, that's why I wanted to be here.
Freddie is actually involved. And so we appreciate him being here because it is an honor. Number one, there are a lot of things that he has to meet requirements. So a couple, I just read them to you. You have to attend at least 50% of your local UCCs. And it's great. He is our chair, so he has no choice. We also would encourage them to make presentations at any of your local UCCs or your local state meetings, which Sean is a part of. And we agreed as an organization with the state UCC that they would support being at as many as they could of these presentations. So Sean is here to represent the state UCC. On that. And on top of being at the UCC. You've helped in reducing updates, 3-hour tickets in your area. I mean, certainly we talk about these at every meeting. You encourage and participate in pre-con conferences, meetings on large projects. You participate and sponsor a damage prevention event, maybe there's a breakfast or a luncheon. Your company has a safety and damage prevention program, absolutely. Sanders Utilities absolutely has that. And he's involved in many different organizations, NUCA, AGC. I think you're taking on that role. Are you you're over the safety committee, or are you still?
Not at the AGC, I stepped down.
You stepped down, that's right.
But I was there for 5 years as that, and then all this other changes with Nuke in October.
So that tells you right there, Roger is very much involved in the industry as a whole. So this is what Lindsay wrote about Roger. Roger is the chair of the Mecklenburg UCC and safety manager for Sanders Utility Construction. In the many years that I have been attending the local UCC meetings, Roger has always fostered an atmosphere that welcomes valuable conversations amongst utility owners, contractors, and locate companies, has put safety at the forefront of every meeting, and has worked hard to spread the word on hot topics within 811. So I can say today, you've been exemplary in that. There's been no cage matches as of yet. In the field, Roger is an integral part of keeping his company's crews safe while on job sites and intervening when they do not have the proper locates or when unlocatable gas lines are in question at a site. You're also a part of many other organizations that encompass worksite safety. You're a true leader and mentor to many, myself included, Lindsay and myself. So thank you for that. You've helped guide me in my damage prevention career and given me valuable advice over the last few years. He also leads the NUCA Future Leaders Group, which I think that's incorrect. You're not over the Future Leaders.
Because of the hurricane that comes in October of this year.
Sharing his valuable advice on safety and damage prevention with the younger generation of construction professionals, which, if you're part of NUCA and you're a young leader, you need to be involved. These folks are on fire. And they've got a conference coming up down at Riceville Beach in March, I think it is.
I don't remember that date right off.
When I think about what this coin represents and encompasses, I would not think of a better and more qualified recipient. So with that, Roger, we created these coins. Has anyone ever had a coin or participated in a coin challenge? So if you're not familiar with these coins, you're to carry them at all times. And so if you happen to be out and about with Roger, and you're maybe somewhere and you ask Roger, hey, I want to see your coin. If he doesn't produce his coin, he has to buy you a round of drinks. Now, for me, that would be a soda.
You got your coin.
So it is very much an honor to receive one of these coins. There's only very few that have these coins. And so, Roger, there's your coin. And it does have Safety Sam on that. And I think actually Brian stepped out, but he was our originator of Safety Sam. So partners in protecting everyone. And there are many partners, NC 811, NC Pipes Plus, and then the NC UCC. So all of these UCCs around the state, we have 50. Damage prevention, most valuable professional. And let me read just a little bit about the challenge coin. So receiving a challenge coin is an honor and given only to individuals that exceed the standard of excavation, damage prevention, and safety. Always keep this coin with you as a symbol of honor and as a reminder that you may have to buy a round of drinks. No, that's not part of it. That you are part of an elite group committed to the highest standard of safety. So here's the pledge. I am a part of, actually, you know what? You read this. Bless him. Name is readers.
You know, what's bad is being shown both are blind. Because I can actually see it now, so both of you are blind. Because I am part of an elite group committed to excavation, damage prevention, and safety on underground facilities. I carry this coin to show my commitment for keeping my family, friends, and community safe by continuing to exemplify the highest of standards in safety and practicing.
Partners in protecting everyone.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
All right, well, congratulations to Roger. I do have a certificate of honor for consistently exemplifying the highest of standards in our excavation, damage prevention, and safety. And it's awarded today, though it was provided to us back in July. So thanks to Lindsay for nominating him. And with that, congratulations, Roger.
Honestly, the way I look at this is, I'm gonna say the unfortunate side is this guy behind me. That award, in my opinion, goes to all of y'all. Because we couldn't do what we're doing without everybody being here. And one's online and everything else. Just like Sean said earlier, 8, 9 years ago, 4 or 5 people here, and it was all but this link. Would that be a fair? Yes. And I was just counting, standing up there, there's 29 people in this room today, and 5 that I counted online. Thank you. You notice I looked at you for confirmation on that. 34 people. 9 years ago was lucky to have 5 that was going to kill each other every month. To 34 people that's here today for damage prevention. And that's what it comes down to. You came to me, I'm gonna say last year, because I can say that. Yes, sir. Along with Shannon, it was on here earlier with Approach Construction. Yes, sir. With a problem. We discussed it at our UCC meeting. You was there, Shannon and Jeremy was there. We were able to get with the facility owner, locators, and you said it earlier, to this day, it has helped. And that's what this meeting's about. If there's problems, if you're having issues, get stuff located or not located, bring it up here, make these connections in here. That's what it's all about, networking. And we're going to get through this, bottom line. We're going to get through it, but we have to work together. It's like we've said in here all day. It's all about communicating. We don't communicate, nothing's going to happen. So Cody and myself, good Lord, brother, I don't know how many times we spoke last year. You know, Stephen, Tony, it was John, but that's what it comes down to. Is when there's a problem, I mean, I've called Ray numerous times. Ray actually took a picture of me with a shovel in my hand, shovel. And I think that got put up here one time before.
I'll dig it the hole.
Oh, the background Baptist has got jokes. He did. Well, you kept saying that too in here, talking about the younger generation. I picked up on that also. But that's what it comes down to, is working together to prevent damages. And I mean, I don't hate to say, but Sanders and Heath has worked a lot together in the past year or two. But we don't mind stopping to try to find where this thing is and make sure we don't damage it. Because everyone knows at the end, if something's damaged, it's always that excavator's fault that's on site. They don't, the homeowners, business owners don't understand the whole process. You know, so there's no sense in me saying, well, Sean's fault for not locating. And Sean goes, well, Scott's fault for not telling me it was on the map or showing that it was there. They don't understand that. They only see the excavator that's out there working. If we take the time to reach out when there's a question on that, in the long run, it saves all of us. You know, we were talking earlier that the facility owners is paying for these tickets and everybody says, oh, it's free, it's free. No, it's not. How many of you get a gas bill at the end of the month? He gets a power bill at the end of the month. He gets a cable bill at the end of the month. I can put my hand down for about 2 out of 3 of them, but, so who's ultimately paying for it? We are. The end user is the one that's actually paying for it. So if we look at it from that perspective, it's coming out of our pockets. It's not just coming, Joel, will pick on you since you're on the front row, probably. You represent Piedmont.
Always wanted to be in the front row.
But it's not just coming out of Piedmont's pocket. They have to get it from somewhere. So they get that from the people that pay their bill every month. And they appreciate that.
Thank you.
But again, I appreciate this and I wish Lindsay was here so I could thank her. And I understand that she's in Colorado with a damage prevention thing or something. So that shows that we all care that's here. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here. I'm honored to get this. I really am. Ultimately, it's still all of us. And I wish we all could be named on it. Sean, I'll buy a round of drinks if you clear that through Greg. Well, he don't care. But no, thank y'all again. I promise you this coin will be in my car with me at all times. So if you ask for it, I will have to say it when we go to the car. I'm not going to carry it in my pocket. And Daniel back there now, he's like, look, you had jokes on guns, throw them back here. But no, thank y'all again for Lindsay and 811, especially 811 for giving me the opportunity to chair this committee. I do appreciate it and I do take it to heart. Our number one goal, obviously, is for everyone to go home at the end of the day. And if we can prevent damages, we know for a fact at that point our people's going home. If we work together to get to that, you know, we made that pledge last year of 50 and 5, or was it the year before? 2 years ago. So we only got 3 years left to meet that. We all agreed to that. Hey, with this, I done told Tammy Ann, but I'm gonna tell you, you can tell Louis I need a raise.
0 times 0 is 0.
I'm gonna go from 0 to 0 to 0. So, double my salary. But no, thank y'all again. Look forward to seeing you the 26th of next month. Amy will let y'all know in advance where that meeting will be. 2 weeks prior. I can hold you to that. Not less than 12 hours from the text. And I was gonna pick on her about her 6 weeks vacation. I knew about her being out for her stuff and what did I do? I called her.
And what did I do?
And it wasn't to check on her till after I realized the crap I forgot. But I called her back to Cleveland County UCC. She answered the phone. She answered my questions and then I apologized for calling her.
Actually, I do want to give away a couple items. We had some new sunshades made, and I have 2 with me today. That one's for you personally. So, pick me a number.
Oh.
Between 1 and 30, or 30, whatever.
Maybe I didn't count right.
1 and 35.
Let's just say 15.
Okay,
Let's go.
count number
About
15.
halfway.
And then pick another one.
He ain't got his glasses either. You got
I can't read it. Giovanni.
back there on the flag.
All right, my friend. You can use that in your video. Pick one more there, Roger.
My number was you showing how much money you got.
Some shades of both of you here.
Let's just do 25.
if you did not sign in when you came in, please make sure that you sign the rosters on your way out, please.
Kevin, picture of the
Oh, Kevin, what the heck? Oh, that's as close to Sean as you can get.
Yeah, hey, that was close enough to you.
This is, QR code that goes to the NCAA website.
Take it down when you drive.
You can't pull it down a little bit and pull it through. Yeah, please take it down before you drive. No, thank y'all again, unless anybody's got anything else they want to bring up before we dismiss. On once. Everybody have a good afternoon. We'll see you next week.
I want to get a photo too. Can I get? Yeah.